So what percentage or what level of automation does this represent to the system? In a sense?
I would say 98% when you include your invoice totally electronic, because the corporation will send their file to the banks will send to CIP with the central repository of all payments, and then we send to the banks that the customer has enrolled to be the e-customer for invoices. So if you consider that process from the beginning to the end, it's totally electronic. So from the accounts receivable for the account payables of the other corporation, you have 100% electronification. If you have a customer here, he will access this bank through his mobile phone, through his web interface, web banking interface, through ATM, so different types of channels for the customers to use and pay electronic. So the good is that we present electronic, and then the customer and the corporation can use also the electronic channels to make the payments, and then you reconcile the payment totally electronic with the remittance information. So it gives speed, unprecedented speed and quality for the whole process, from presentation to the payment of the invoice.
I guess you're talking about 8 to 9% automation. I guess that would be since the launch, which was just recent, was last year, 2009?
Yeah, 2009.
So do you see this momentum carrying on, or has it somewhat plateaued?
It's carry on because we start with invoicing. Now we are discussing in a collaborative mode the inclusion of utility bills. Then we have also some government, federal government, state government, some cities that are willing to understand the process and see if they could present electronically their taxes collection. So it's a whole avenue that we can address and actually tackle for the future.
Would you have anything to share, maybe in the sense of lessons learned, challenges that you needed to figure out before you could sort of really implement it?
Yeah, I think the important aspect in the lessons learned is that when you think about the whole process involving many banks, many stakeholders in the system, one thing that we learned is that, and we took 3 years in order to get to the business model, how we would do that. And in order to be able to get the approval of all banks, I think the key thing was in the collaborative space to be able to draw the line in the collaborative space. You don't tackle things that belongs to the competitive space. So the beauty of what we have done, the DDA, is that we have, of course, for the common infrastructure for CIP and for the banks, behind the scenes, we have standard procedure, we have rules, we have self-regulatory body that encompasses how the banks utilize the system. But we left a lot of room for the banks to differentiate in the product. So the banks have the ability to differentiate DDA in the offering for their customer, so that they can define their strategy to retain customer, to gain market share and things like that. So one very important thing for collaborative effort is actually you have to find where to draw the line on things that has to be discussed in a collaborative way, and things that you have, the room that you have to leave for competition. Because when you are trying to define things in the competitive space and trying to standardize, the model will never fly. So I think that's the key lesson learned, that we have gone through all this process, which is respect for what is collaboration and what is competitive space.
And don't hurry up with the business model.
And don't hurry up, yeah, it needs time, because all the idea has to mature, and you may imagine how difficult it is to really make all the constituencies understand that what we are trying to do is for the best of everyone, and we are not trying to change their market share. You know, so that's the piece that takes time. So you have to be very patient with that process, so you can get to a robust business model that everyone will actually support. And that's what surprised us, because my background is from IT. So we took 3 years to get to the model, and then we had to develop and deploy in 1 year. So, and usually what we see is that we take 3 years to build the system, then 1 year and then deploy, and just spend a few days to define the scope. In the collaborative space, if you don't spend 3 years or a lot of time discussing the scope, maybe that the project will not go live. So that's the key learning that we have gone through all these days.